from what we'll do here is we'll look at some of the differences in MEP, some of the tools that you have, where to find them. We'll just go over the interface on this video, and then we'll go into detail on all of these tools. So what you're going to find different. Let's first just go to this Express Tools. You may or may not have it in there after your installation. If you don't, you're going to have to Google it. Just Google something like "Where's my Express Tools" in AutoCAD. Basically, you have to do a custom install to get them to come in. So we'll go through this menu bars up here first, and you're going to have CAD Manager menus, and we'll go into this in detail and probably in the last part of the video series. You really don't need this to get started drafting, but it'll come in handy as you start to learn MEP. Fabrication, this is an add-on that I have that I may do a feature on as more of a review than anything else. So far, I don't think it's worth the money, but we'll see. HVAC systems. You come in here, you got HVAC system definitions. It's where you're going to define all your parts, and you can find, and it's kind of deep into the background of all the parts that we're going to go over. Parametric parts wizard. You can build some different parts. It's kind of limited, but I mean it's handy. For instance, you can come in here and you can build some manufacturers' grills, and basically, I mean, there's a lot of generic stuff in here too. VAV boxes. I mean, you could probably it's easier to actually build them in 3D and solids, and there's some other stuff in here, some fans, and there's some piping stuff. You can build some flanges, connectors, build some couplings. This is a little bit better. It's still limited to what you can do. There's a quick look at it. We'll draw a few things in future videos with it. HVAC. Let's see. Okay, we did that. And there's some of your things you're going to use for drawing duct, add duct, and modify duct length, all that stuff. We'll go into that as we're drawing duct. Piping, it's pretty much the same thing. Everything you're going to need, tools and stuff for that. Plumbing, same thing. And that's pretty much is in there. And then you can actually come in here too, and you can find your toolbars for some of the same things. CAD Manager, electric, HVAC, and we'll pop open each one of those. Have a look at it. I don't use the toolbars on it. I use just basically palettes and stuff, but there's quite a few ways to get at stuff, and that's what's different. You can customize all that. And the way you get to that is you just find this in here in space. It should be next to any toolbar. And then you can click in there and you can find your toolbars. I'm sure you know that if you've been through some of those other videos. Okay, now palettes that are different you're going to have in here. You're going to have some HVAC, piping, plumbing, schematic, architectural. It's built into MEP Architectural Desktop. And let's see, we take a look at this real quick. And you come in here, you can customize this. Like I have this customized. I have some of this stuff. I have fire dampers in here and labels up in here. It's not the vanilla palette that comes with it, but here's where you get started drawing a duct. come down to here, you'll have some fittings and whatnot. I don't usually go to that. I usually just do everything on the fly. But let's see. You have basically in here you've got some pieces and parts like diffusers and fire dampers, and it's all pretty generic, but it's there. And you have some annotation here, labels, and we'll go through some of this stuff that I use. I don't use a whole lot of it, but we'll go through it in the later videos. And there's some more tagging. It's really, a lot of this stuff is for engineering firms. You're not going to use this detailing too much. And there's some stuff for design. There is a thing on subscription and that I've just started using, and it's a commercial and residential load calculations, which has been missing. And that's pretty much it for the palettes. Okay, the properties palette is pretty much the same. However, you're going to notice that when you're going to be using this a lot, and you're going to notice when you click on some of these tools, especially piping, and we'll draw a short piece of duct here. You'll have properties now for these pieces and parts, and extended data is not all that. There's not a whole lot of information other than, but you can add information to it. We'll go through that probably in the later videos and more advanced stuff. But you need to go through this. You need to look at it, and you need to get familiar with it. There's a lot of information in here: your width, your size, your length. And some of this stuff can be changed, and some of it is it's enabled. And we'll go through it in a little more depth. And when you go into piping, is where it really comes in, because you're going to be using it to manipulate your pipe sizes and all your stuff. The little dialog box that they had, similar to the duct work, in the earlier versions they had this for piping, and I kind of liked it. I don't know why they took it out, but they did. But now all that is in here, and you're going to be in here quite a bit. So there is the properties palette. We'll go into all this in detail as we start drawing. Now the workspace settings. There's some changes in here. You're going to find plumbing and all of your MEP stuff and some architectural. And that's pretty much the only change you have. And what it does is, if you click on here, I'm not going to do it because it sends everything cattywampus. But I have just a general setup, and I have all of my piping and plumbing menus up already. And then when I want a different palette, I just right-click and go to that palette. And basically, what this is going to do is, if you click on HVAC or piping, it's going to set all the menus up and everything that you need for piping or plumbing or whatever. And how you get to this so that you can put these menus up here is you're going to go to Windows, and you're going to go to Pull Downs, MEP Disciplines, and you can just start clicking on these, and they will appear up in your drop down, or I guess they're calling pull downs. and you can do some customizing. You're going to have some design pull downs that are different. You used to be able to get into the content. Yeah, there's the content browser. And that's basically all you're probably ever going to use in there. Now, in this menu browser, you're going to end up seeing pretty much the same thing as you have over there in your menus. But you're going to find that you're now going to have plumbing, HVAC, and CAD Manager. Let's see. And that's basically it. So basically, you're going to have the same thing that you have over here. Just going to be quicker and easier to get to. So they say. Okay, so we're going to look at layering. Um, when you draw a piece of pipe, you come in here, you can click in here, and we'll say we're going to do. All that stuff is mine. Let's just do a standard pipe. And when you draw, it's going to come in and it's going to draw it automatically on a layer called MEP Standard. Now you can certainly change that in here if you wanted to. MEP Standard. But it will only change that piece as soon as you change direction. So, I mean, if you want to change these colors and change the layer names and all that, it's kind of complicated. I would stay away from it. I would just draw I would just go ahead and change the colors, and you can change the line weights. I wouldn't go into naming and whatnot, not until you get a little more experience. Let's see. Layer key standards. You can select. Let's see here. Let's look at standards, layer key standards, and this is basically where all these layers are coming from. Inside MEP, they've got in these templates, they have AIA standards, and I'm not sure what these are. And then they have the MEP object and MEP system. MEP object AIA is the one you're going to want to use the most. And it's got everything in it that you need. And we'll go to that next. I'll click apply. And the way these are all coming from here. Let's see. Layer key styles. And in here is all a list of all the layers that are in the template. So we're at MEP standards, what we're looking for. There we go, MEP standard. And you could come in here and it's basically like Layer Manager, pretty much. And you have your description. And layer name. I wouldn't mess with that because it really doesn't change it. You have to go into you have to jump a lot of hoops to get all this stuff to change. But you could change the color, you could change the line type. And basically that's all I would do right now until you get more experience. And you could just click apply or OK, it doesn't matter. And then, but that's where every time you draw something, no matter what you do, if you come in here and you pick chill water supply. It's going to come in here and it's going to choose a layer based on those layer standards, those AIA layer standards. And that's it. That's how the layering works. Okay, so we looked at layers a little bit, and we may go back into that later down the road and do some layer changing and building your own layers. But for now, we'll just look at systems. So, and how those layers, and it's pretty nice the way they've got it set up. Let me draw some 3D here. And you come in here, and you want to pick your system like we did over here. And we'll go back to standard. And you can pick your size in here. Your routing preference. It sets the type of pipe, butt weld, copper. There's all different types of ones, and we'll go into that and how to build those systems and where to find them, make changes to them. But so you come in here and you can draw this and draw this, and like we said before, that automatically goes onto a layer for you. And let's say you went into here and you wanted to draw a chill water pipe. So you can see that comes in on its own layer, and it's not set up for 3D right at this minute. But let's say you wanted to, you can automatically connect to these things. So you wanted to connect a piece of duct or pipe to that and draw off of this, and it won't let you draw that chill water. It's going to draw exactly what the same layer that you're on, so that you're not going to draw and you're not going to have a bunch of different layers. It automatically knows to connect that, and it'll set you up. You can set it up to prompt you. I have it so it doesn't prompt you. It'll ask you, I think, out of the box, do you want to continue with or change layers, continue with the system. And I think I could find that and show it to you. But, so it knows exactly how you want to do that. And let's look at the systems. And you can change this right here, and it'll do it. But I think when you draw off of here, no, it doesn't. It changes everything after it. I thought that it would only change. I know what it is when you change this. Yeah, you can do that, I guess. Okay. Well, anyways, that's the way that works. When it goes for layering systems. Now, for ductwork, it's the same thing. You come in here and you draw yourself a piece of duct. And you got this little palette that pops up instead of using the properties. And you can pick a spot to start. And you've got exhaust. You've got all these different types of systems that you can use. We'll keep it at exhaust. You could start the elevation as, say, 10 feet. And we'll go into this a little bit further. We'll start drawing some systems. And then you have your connection types. Some of these aren't named properly. Slip joint. I'm assuming that that's a slip and drive and a flanged, clipped and banded. I don't know where they got these from some engineering standard somewhere. Vanstone, I believe, is like a plastic duct. PVC, but basically you just want to use slip joint and flanged until you start building your own systems, which we'll show you down the road. And we'll get into some of this stuff here later too. But anyways, you want to go in here. You can start your run. And the same thing. If you were to come in here and you were to pick outdoor air and click on it, there it is. The size is not currently drawn. It is larger. Oh, that's okay. That's not what I was looking for, but that's just saying it's larger. It's going to resize it for you. Um, and you could actually turn that prompt off. But again, it draws it right on the same layer so that you're not drawing anything on the wrong layers. We've got all kinds of little pieces and parts, and we'll go into that. We'll draw a system out and detail it. And you can add veins in here. And I'll show you how to set all that up, whether you want them or not. But that's pretty much all there is to layering. Like I said, I just stick to the out-of-the-box stuff till you get some experience and you have some free time, because it's going to take a lot of time if you decide to go in and customize it. There's a couple of things that you're probably going to want to look at. And if you looked in your Vanilla CAD, they should have taught you how to find Design Center. You can type in it, come AD Center, was bring it up. And I don't use this a whole lot anymore, because over the years it's a lot of block-based parts and stuff like that. I've just collected them and I have what I need. And but every once in a while I'll go through here and see if I can find some things that are new, and I'll just save them into my template. And basically you'll have architecture, and you can come down here and look into different disciplines. And you'll have things like chases, blocks, and you'll probably use some of them here and there. 2D sections. Elevation points. And you can actually just draw them right into your drawing. And if you like those, then you can just save them to a block template somewhere. But that's that. And then there's this other thing. It's now you're probably gonna. This is a good little tool that you're probably gonna want to learn more about. And this is the content browser. And basically everything is not in these palettes that's available. And this is a program running on top of there. But everything that's not in there, but you should probably come in here, and I would do some searching and see what they've got in here. But basically you can come back here, and it's like a web browser, and you can look in here for MEP stock tools, and it's basically what's going to be in your mechanical items. Duct, see, that stuff's already in there. But if it disappears on you, you know where to come find it. And I'll show you how to get it under your building or into your projects. And let's go back here. They've got all different kinds of stuff. They've got some architectural stuff, and they've got documentation. And you just need to go through there and get familiar with it. Stock tool catalogs. It's been a while since I've actually been in here. And you come here, let's look for some HVAC duct, fittings, equipment. And some of this stuff is already in there. We got balancing round, balancing. Let's see if we can find something that's not in there. There's a coil. So let's say you wanted it in here. You could just take and go to the page that you want it on. In this case, I'm going to put it back there. And you can just copy it and paste it. And there you go. Now you have an electric coil in there. And your part is now available to you, if it was not in the first place. You can click on this, and it's got property sets to it. You can check out the properties. Okay. And that's basically it. You should get familiar with this because you're going to find some stuff like top and bottom of duct tags. I think it has a out of the box. I think your tags are only, you have a top and a bottom, and there's nothing that has both top and bottom. So you'll find that in here. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this again. HVAC. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. MEP documentation. HVAC. Tags. Text tags. I think it's in text tags. And then you have that. You have your air diffusers and stuff like that. I think that's all that stuff's in there. And there's your bottom of duct tag that's in there already. And you got some other stuff in here. Don't tell me it's not in here anymore. Well, it used to be a double tag where you had top and bottom in a box. I don't see it anymore. But basically that's how you use the tool catalogs. I guess it's not in here anymore. Other tags. There it is right there. Duct elevation tag. And you can take and you can actually copy it that way too. As soon as you get that little line in there, it'll pop in there. And then you can tag duct with top and bottom. There you go. So that is Content Browser. Something you need to learn, play with, look around in. There's a lot of things in there that you may want to use. Okay, now let's take a quick look inside of the Format, Display Manager. Let's go to the Style Manager. And basically, in here, you're going to find some of your systems that you use, documentation objects. The ones you're going to be concerned about the most are going to be those label curves, and that's where your bottom of duct. And we'll go into this little detail. I'll show you how to make some changes and make new ones. But you got some standards, and you can take this and see here, and you can come in, you can change your text style for that. You can change the name of it, and then some of the property sets and how it's used and what kind of information it has attached to it. Um, label style offsets. I'll show you that. That just basically has a says force inside the box or adjust to line, force to horizontal justification. Um, this is how it's. There's some break lines. I'll show you this in a minute. Classification, display properties. We'll go into that in a little detail. Things like that are in there. I don't have any duct drawn, but that's the one you're probably going to look for the most. I've never even actually played with any of this other stuff. HVAC object, you're going to come in here and you're going to have all your duct systems. And immediately following this video, we're going to do a video on how to build a template so that you can get rid of some of this stuff that you're not going to be using. And whenever you open a drawing, you won't have to deal with all of these little systems that you're probably not going to use, and you can customize and build your own. But basically, there's where all your supply, your return, this is all in here, and you can do some display configurations in here. In other words, if you're having hidden line issues, you're probably going to find it in here. Or if some reason your center lines are showing, then this has automatically been put back on. And you can do some of your layer changing in here. But I would go ahead and I would not deal with that for right now. Just giving you an idea of where this stuff is so you can start playing with it. And let's see, what else is there? This is some of the things you can find there. And that's your rise and your drop style. So in other words, when you're drawing a duct down, you can come in here and change that, the way that looks. Rectangular two-line plan. I just kind of stick to the one that came out of the box. They look pretty good. Rise and drop. You can mess around with that if you wanted to change it. Standards. Not sure what that is. I don't know why those fittings aren't in there. But we'll be looking at that. We'll be going through that in detail. And piping is the same way. And you can come in here. This is where you can make arrangement, or you can set it up to where it'll draw 2D up until 8 inch. In this case, it's 8. You can always change that to 3. This is where we usually have it, and then it won't draw anything up to. Oh, turn that off. 3. Hit enter. And that was chill water. Go to standard. Number 3. Enter. I think that works now. It's going to ask you for a reducer type. You click OK. And see, it's changed. So once again, Style Manager. Piping systems. Now you can come in here to the routing preferences. And let's say you got butt weld. here. And this is the type of things where you can change what type of pieces and parts are put in on your auto route. There's a couple different ways you can do that. And some pieces and parts won't do it, and we'll show you how to make them do it. But like this short radius elbow, we're never ever going to use short radius elbows if possible in process piping. So you come in here, butt weld, long radius, and that'll change it. You know, I'll always draw those in there, but you can always put a short radius in there, but this will put it in there by default. And that's where you find that kind of information at. Plumbing objects, we don't know much about that. It's pretty much the same. It's all two-line stuff, but we'll go into it. I would have to refresh my memory on it. I'm drawing with East Coast CAD, which has all 3D plumbing and piping. So I haven't messed with it in a couple years. I'm going to say don't save. Now, what you're going to want to do is build a template. And we're going to show you how to do that in the next video, so that you don't have to make all of these changes all the time in each drawing. So you just open it up and you can have all your settings to change the way you want. And let's see here, there's a couple other things you probably should look at. We'll go in here to Format, Options, which you're probably familiar with in AutoCAD. And there's my East Coast CAD stuff. But inside of here, you've got a few new tabs for MEP. Layout rules, prompt for user input. That's where you get those prompts and stuff like that. Like when we did the ductwork and it wouldn't connect because it was the same size or bigger coming out of the side. These are types of things that it'll prompt. You can automatically match to make. I like to keep it for user input and just click out of it, yes or no. But you can opt out of it and you can choose to make the connection. In here you got your gap settings for your hidden lines, and we'll go through that when we start drawing some ductwork. I'll show you, and we'll go back to this. But basically, what it is, you got a duct coming across here and a duct coming underneath. You're going to have a little break line in here, and you can reset that there. Display shape, center line displays. I don't use center line. Display by shape. I usually just set all that at default. I don't want that either. Okay, elevations. Here's if you come in here, you can set some preset elevations, and we'll come back to that, so that you don't have to keep typing everything in there. And you can do that by project, or if you find yourself using the same one all the time. Here's all your catalogs. This is where you need to access your catalogs when you need to get to them. But this is how AutoCAD or MEP finds them. This is where you can quickly find your catalogs, and you can add new ones. I believe in 09 now you can have 2 catalogs for each type in here. For pipe, one for, I'm not sure if there's any more than that, but I have 2. I don't have it in this one, but and AEC editor. You can change your grip color. I'm not sure what this stuff is, but let's see what we got here. Design Center, there's your Design Center path if you ever want to know where it's at. tool catalog, content root path. I'm probably not going to mess with that. And object settings or wall settings, auto snap. And you're probably not going to use any of that stuff. Stairs, all that stuff. That brings me back to another thing. This is all architectural stuff. That for architectural desktop. And that's basically some of the newer the things you're going to find that aren't in Vanilla CAD. And that's another thing too, is if we showed you this tool palette over here where it says you got architecture. That won't automatically be there. It's kind of like Express Tools. You're going to have to do a custom install. If it's not there, you're going to have to pull your install disk out and do a custom install of it, so that you'll have it, because you're going to use it. You're going to want to use some of the steel features, and there's a few things in there that you're going to use, slabs, stuff like that. So let's recap. We looked at all of the changes, or some of the windows that you're going to find that are new, not in AutoCAD. We looked at the palettes. We looked at some of the formatting features and the layers and the layering systems and the properties. And we'll go into more detail on all of this. This is just to get you to understand what's there and to get you started looking around at it. And you can always go into the help files. Help files is pretty deep in MEP. And you have some tutorials which also will have to be installed when you're installing. If you don't have them, then you're going to have to install them. So we will that'll give you something to play around with until we can get back. But I think when we come back, we're going to look at how to make a template, and then we'll start drawing some ductwork systems and go into a little more detail on how to draw them and how to make some changes, customize some of the fittings, and get you started in drawing some ductwork. Thanks.